it now. Thanks for reminding me. Yeah, I want to record all of our meetings. So yeah, so I mean, I don't, I just know here in Vietnam, we have a local market and their farmers sell directly, but like everything they sell has a different, they describe it differently. So if you go out and you order mangoes and it's like grade A mangoes, that means ripe and you can eat them today. Or you can order a different kind of mango, which means you take it to your house and you leave it and it will be ripe in 2 weeks. So understanding how people describe their crops or their food, particularly how do they describe it when like between the farmer and the marketplace or maybe the shipper. I think that's, we can start building a spreadsheet based on these descriptions. I think that would be a very valuable first start.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. And I was wondering, is it do we have to also include animal farming as well, or is just crops?
I think it can include animal farming. You mean like chickens and pigs?
Chickens and pigs and all that. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I know one of the organizations we're working with in Vietnam is a chicken farm. So
yeah.
that's the big, yeah. So definitely we can include chicken farming.
Okay. All right.
And then I think it's important to know how much food actually gets to the market, because
So actually, we are trying to arrange them in order, how to ask the questions in order, right?
Yeah.
So let's say
yeah,
the
maybe
how,
I should. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So you can just say what do you do first,
So it
or
means what food do you grow will come first, and then how do you describe
yeah,
your food? That will be second.
yeah, yeah. And actually, this is a duplicate, but what food do you grow? How do you describe it? And then, uh, okay, let me actually. Yeah. What food do you grow? So it'd be nice to know how much food actually makes it to the marketplace. I don't like, I know in certain countries like India, like 40% of the food that leaves going to the market is spoiled or gets lost. So I don't know if that, yeah, it'd be nice to have an answer to the question, how much spoilage occurs? And by that, I mean just how much is lost on the way to the market. Maybe it's spoiled, maybe some of it gets lost or stolen, maybe some of it is bad quality to begin with, but based on some metric, how much of the crop actually makes it to the marketplace. And that might be one of the questions which is sensitive to the farmer, but or to the marketplace. But if we feel confident that we're not asking someone something that's private, then I think that's a good question to ask them.
I think it depends on how you
Uh,
ask them.
b- b- okay.
If you let them know that you are
Yeah.
asking
So
a solution for their problem, I'm sure they will be very open to give you genuine answers.
Yeah.
Dave, it seems your voice is very far away. Can you?
Yeah, we
Daniel, voice is
cannot
very
hear
far.
you.
Yeah.
My voice is far. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's okay now.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. What I'm saying is that that question is very sensitive, but it will depend on how we are going to ask the farmers. if we approach them in a way that we're asking them to find solution to their issues or their problems, I'm sure they will be glad to give us a genuine
Mhm.
answers. So, how much foliage occurs? We can also add the reasons, if they can give us the reasons, how much foliage occurs and the reasons, so that in our when we come to the group, we can try and find solution to some of their problems.
Yeah, so you're saying, okay, let me add this on top. You'd, you'd add here what? How much, sorry, what would you add
Yo,
here?
is the same question, but we want to know uh, um the causes, the reason why their crops get spoiled, or maybe they didn't reach the market. Like the reason, maybe is it a natural disaster or any other thing that
Yeah,
we.
good point.
Uh-huh,
Yeah,
mhm.
yeah, good point. I don't know too many people who know this, but I know in the US and Vietnam, yeah, there are many causes. Uh,
And even in Ghana here, sorry, but let me just come in with this one. In Ghana here, mostly spoilages are caused usually by out of storages, like how the means they use to store their crops. Some store them just on the background, probably in sacks and this, and then because of exposure to the uh, outside atmosphere, okay, it generates
yeah.
molds and stuff, and then it gets full. So at the end of the day, they just get a few
You
crops
broke
to the
up.
market, and then almost for it and then sell it. Yeah, they sell it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So is there, should we ask another question or do you just giving a comment?
Yeah. So as I was saying, mostly most of these farmers, yeah. I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
you got my point.
Yeah,
He's trying to give one of the reason why the food hasn't reached the market.
okay. And this was, sorry, it broke up. I didn't hear all of it.
Yeah, he
Oh,
was trying
okay.
to
So
give.
maybe I should come again.
Yeah,
Yeah, go
Rich.
ahead.
Nana, your line is breaking.
Or maybe text it. Maybe text it. Mm-hmm. Chat. Yeah, maybe enter into, maybe enter it into the chat.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah. I'm sorry. My network cut off. Okay.
Yeah,
So I
I,
was saying that. Yeah. I was saying that concerning the reasons why most of these crops don't get to the market places for for trading is that most of these crops that they grow, some of them they store it on in sacks, and then they keep it on the bare grounds. So like
mhm,
due to exposure to outside atmosphere, it generates mold, especially when it comes to crops like maize and mangoes and all of these
mhm,
perishable yeah, and vegetables. It generates this mold, and then they get spoiled. But sometimes these farmers they don't care if these crops are getting spoiled. They just pull all of them together, and then they send to the market place, and then they sell. Whether it is spoiled or not, they just don't care. They just want to get their money, and then That is how
Oh,
it
I
goes. So
see.
usually most of these crops that they grow, because of how they store it,
Mhm.
due to lack of warehouse, lack of proper warehouse, uh, most of these crops just get spoiled and then they are not being sent to the marketplace.
Oh, I see. So it's like,
So basically, lack of proper warehouse is one of the reasons why most crops doesn't get to the
yeah,
marketplace.
that makes a
Yeah.
lot of sense. Yeah. Uh, oh, yeah. Okay, good point. And I think the next one is maybe one of the most important questions. Uh, but what happens if the market, if the food is spoiled when it gets to the market? So it may have been, it may have been damaged. Uh, it may have been bad or to begin with, but then also maybe it was damaged while shipping, or it's spoiled in the warehouse, as you were saying, or uh, or maybe even something, another cause, maybe at the marketplace. So so what happens when what happens when there's damage to the produce or the food? I think that's a critical question for us. Like,
Yeah.
does the does a marketplace just not pay for it? And so if the marketplace doesn't pay for the food, the wasted food, then who actually ends up holding the short end of the stick? Is it the farmer or the warehouse or the shipper?
I think
Can you
the
come again with the
farmer and
question?
the farmer and the warehouse actually suffer the impact depending on the agreement between the farmer and the warehouse. Yeah,
Mhm.
so I think that's really, they will actually feel the impact of the loss or spoilage. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Another point that we should also consider is that we are dealing with three different categories over here. One is the farmer, then the
Mhm.
two is the warehouse or the transporters, then the three are the sellers in the market. So in this case, it depends on where the food goes stored. If the food goes stored in the farmer's hand or in the farm, that's the farmer's loss. If the farmer have sold the crops, the goods to the shipper or to the warehouse or whoever who is doing the distributor, it will be at the loss of the distributor. Now, if the food or the crops get to the seller in the market in a good shape, it's up to the seller to preserve it and to sell it in a good state. But in the case where it couldn't sell it and it got spoiled, that's the loss of the seller in the market. But the
Mm.
question is, what happens? Most of these sellers in the market miss the good ones with the bad ones.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Too. So, so does the farmer, when does the farmer get paid? Does the farmer get paid when, uh, when the food is shipped to the warehouse, or does the farmer get paid only when the marketplace buys the food?
I think
Actually,
with this one, hello.
Yeah,
yeah,
I can
Yeah,
hear.
go ahead, please.
Okay. Yeah, I think most of the times it has to do with the agreement that is between the parties involved. There are
Mm,
instances where the farmer immediately gets his cash, then releases the product. But there are instances to the other parties involved enter into an agreement with the farmer that once the product is sold at the market, then that is where the farmer will now be paid. So it depends on the terms and conditions that exist in the contract. Yes, so some actually get paid instantly, but others have to wait till the product is sold at the market before they now receive payment. Yeah.
I think whenever we talk to a farmer, we should try to understand his agreement, because that will tell us how we can provide value to the farmer. So if we can have supply chain where the farmer signs off, where when the farmer loads his produce into the truck, it's signed off as good quality. And then if there's spoilage that arrives to the marketplace, then we may see if maybe the shipper or the warehouse should pay for the damages, not the farmer. So would be a very good, I'd be very curious to know for each farmer, for each crop, yeah, when do they get paid? As you mentioned, maybe it's when it gets sold, maybe when it arrives at the market.
Okay, for me, one instance that I know is, let's say tomatoes. When these women go to the market to, or the villages to buy tomatoes from the farmers, they go there and then they buy, let's say if they are buying $20, then they will give them excess of the tomatoes because they know definitely some will get spoiled on the way. So when they come back, they know that this amount of tomatoes, I bought it this amount, but some will definitely get spoiled. So this farmer added a lot of tomatoes to it so that when I come back, I'll definitely get my money back. So that's something that I know. So most of the time when they go, they definitely pay the farmers and then they get what they want. So that's what I know.
So when the tomatoes reach the marketplace, they get paid partially? Is that what, did I hear right? You get paid partially for the amount, or?
You pay outright, like you pay all the amount you have to pay to the farmer, and then you get your tomatoes. And definitely the farmer will also add some to an amount of tomatoes to it, because he also knows that when you are going, some will get spoiled because of transportation. So
Okay.
yeah, so when they also get to the market, they sell it to the price of how they also bought it from the farmer. So
Okay, I see.
Yeah. Explain it further to when they buy from the farms, like the farmer may add half baskets to compensate the ones that will get rotten, which they don't pay for that one. So when they come and they find out that some are rotten, they will get profit from the one that was added. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true. And even some farmers are good to the extent that they can even ask you that when you go and then you find out some spoilages in what you bought so far, you can just pack them and then bring them back. Like when you are done with your sales, or probably you can bring them before sales so that I will just he will just change it for you and then you're going to your business. Yeah. So those farmers are also good.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, so these are some of the effects that the farmers like faces here in Ghana. They need to give out more crops because they know that the sellers might lose his money, so they give more excess, more than the amount of the money the women or the buyers or the sellers are, the market women are buying. So that when they take it to the markets, they will be able to sell and then. But there's another smart way that other organizations are also doing. What it does is that the sport food, the crops, they turn them into manure, fertilizers to grow another crop.
Fertilizer? Okay.
Yeah, some of the export food, they turn them back to be a manure,
Mhm.
help to fertilize the soil so that it can be able to grow, make the land fertile and grow more food. So it all comes back to education. Are we educating the farmers on all these things? Or yeah, before we approach them, we need to tell them our mission.
Yeah.
As a team, we need to tell them our mission, our purpose, like, and how we can help them. So if they tell us their issues, we'll be able to find solutions for them so that the food security that we want to promote to be very, very effective.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Um, add one more.
Yeah, that that
You're breaking up. I
sorry.
can't hear very well.
So actually, what Daniel was saying is actually very business. You know, first of all, oh, bad weather, bad network over here. But
Nana,
am I
so
being
Nana,
heard?
you can type what you want to say so that it
Okay, sure.
becomes.
Maybe I should do it that way.
Yeah, I think that's better. It's the network is breaking up. Oh, I see. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Um, maybe we can look at the next question are sort of like, how many of these farmers might be interested in selling their products to other markets or selling their products maybe to international markets where food traceability might be a requirement? I don't know if you have that, if you're going to meet people who are interested. In Vietnam, a lot of people have been selling to the same market for, since they were children, so they're not interested in changing. But there's some of the bigger farmers would be more interested in how can they sell to another country or another continent or another marketplace that may be further away. So maybe we should try to find those farmers that might be looking for different markets. And of course, they have to be incentivized, a market where they are paid more.
I think what happens here is the farmers, the farmers themselves don't do exporting. Okay, there are agencies here that go to the farmers and get their products, package it nicely, and sell it, export it to the outside world. So we need to now bring those agencies, those people over here, so that they can also buy into our mission. And then we will buy. But the farmers, they don't do that. So the agencies that they are into importing and exporting of goods and services, they will come in here.
Okay. Pack the produce. We should talk to agencies as well. But I wonder if we're doing food provenance, if we could act as one of these agencies. Are they mainly doing like the import export or the quality assurance? Why can't a farmer sell directly to a market in another country? What is it that the agency does for the farmer?
I think it's
What
possible.
I think
It's possible to for the farmers to sell, but you know, in this part of the country, as we speak, like most farmers are not so much enlightened to what they can do, how they can reach the international market all by themselves. So, but like the system makes it appear that they have to link up with these agents so to be able to have their products and at the end of the day, they get cheated. The farmers get cheated in that because most of the times the agents at the end of the day take the huge chunk of the money while leaving just some peanuts for the farmers. I think if there's a way for the farmers to deal directly with the international market, they will be happy to do that if we can create the channel.
That's good. I think that's the promise of blockchain, that you don't have the middleman taking most of the profits, but you can connect directly. And if we can have some form, I'm sure, I don't know exactly, but maybe the middleman, maybe the agent does some quality control, some packaging. Yeah, let's find out what the crops are, and then maybe we can find some marketplaces where the crops are going and see if we can't arrange to have a marketplace agree to take some of the crops. That would be nice. Because everybody is benefits, because whatever the agent takes, now you can cut that in half and give half to the farmer, and then charge less to the marketplace. So yeah, that's exciting. Okay, let's put that away too, just for ourselves. But we can also talk about working with the agents. We can try to work around the agents, but maybe we also work with them. So we should have questions for them. Yeah, try to do it diplomatically. So go ahead.
Sorry, I think the agents should fall under the shipper, because what they do is they actually go for these crops from the farmers, and then all they do is they just ship it abroad, and then I don't know if they have other. I'm sure they have second bodies, in other states. So they ship it to them, and then they distribute, as sellers to people around. Yeah, so we can have them as part of the, under the shipper umbrella, so that they can answer some questions from that side also.
Yeah, and maybe also the agents, we can help the agents. So there's probably an agent on the other side as well, who takes the food and then sells to the grocery stores or the restaurants. So, maybe that's a middleman that we can remove from the equation, and then find a way directly to sell to the restaurants or the marketplaces. A lot of research to be done there, but that's hopeful. I think if you can provide a higher profit for the farmer, they would be very excited about that.
Yeah, sure. Once they know they are getting higher profits, they'll be excited.
Yeah. And it's probably all along the line. There's probably some restaurant that's buying food from the market at twice the price that he could have if he bought from the farmer. Yeah, okay, that's worth exploring. I guess the next question would be around like fertilizer. Oh, somebody. Okay. So Amelia, you think that hotels and schools purchase food directly, right? Is that what you think they're a marketplace?
Yes,
Yeah,
we can help link them directly to the schools and hotels
Are those schools and hotels
so
in
that the
Ghana?
middleman
Are you talking about hotels and
in
schools
Ghana.
in Ghana? Okay. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay. I should create
Yeah.
another sheet here for sort of action items. Spreadsheet. Come on, what do I do here? And schools. Okay. So is organic food a thing in Ghana? Like if people want to have crops that have not been sprayed with maybe deadly pesticides and chemicals, but want to crops that have been grown organically, maybe like using bugs, ladybugs or something to keep off the pests. Has this reached Ghana yet?
Actually, those over here that want organic food, most of them are into backyard farming. That means they grow their own food. Aside that, most of the food that we grow here are all being fertilized. Like if you want fertilized free food, then you have to do backyard farming, grow your own food. But aside that, most of the food.
And that's very true because even the government supports using organic, using fertilizers for our farmers. They even produce the fertilizers for them to use. So it means if you want to use something like organic food, if you don't want to eat organic food, you have to do backyard farming, as David is saying. Yes. So
if you don't want to eat, if you don't want to eat fertilizer food, you have to do organic farming.
Is there a marketplace where if you're in a big town and maybe you're a rich guy and you can pay for that you can go to a store and buy organic food?
Actually, there are some shops that have organic food, but most of these foods are imported food into the country. If you go to Koala shop at Osu in Accra, their shop have most of the organic foods, but most of them are imported food from outside Ghana, the shores of Ghana. Yeah.
Okay. And are those foods very much more expensive?
Very expensive.
And with the organic foodstuffs, there are some markets where the market women get these organic foodstuffs from some typical villages where they don't really use fertilizers at all. They just plant them and let them grow. Whatever years it will take, they don't care. So we know where they get these natural food from. They don't add fertilizers. Some of the pawpaw, the fruits like pawpaw, you see the organic and you know the ones which the fertilizer has been used to produce it.
Mm.
So we have organic, yeah, we have organic foodstuffs on the market. We know a particular place where they sell them. So that's it.
What if a
And it's
farmer?
not too expensive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What if a farmer
Yeah.
who's not growing the organic food? What if we give him a way to maybe grow like some of his crops or as organic and if we have a way to certify that it is organic and then he can take it to the market, do you think do you think some farmers would be interested in that?
I'm sure they will, because these days people are very much conscious about their health.
Yeah.
So people are buying more of organic foods. They actually even ask the market woman whether it's natural. That's the word they use. Is it natural or fertilizer is added? You know. So the seller will be proud to say it's natural because they will get more buyers.
Mm-hmm.
So that will really help. Mm.
But the thing
Think.
is, growing crops without fertilizer takes a very long time, and sometimes it can frustrate the farmer or the farmers because of the long period of the
Mm.
crops to grow. So because organic foods keep long to grow, the prices of the organic foods are much more, it's a little bit expensive than the fertilizer ones. And then, like Sister Miller was saying, some of these sellers or the market women, because they want their product to move fast, they might also say yes, it is organic. So it is up to the buyer to identify what is an organic food and what is not organic food. And she says some of like the pawpaw, she can identify the organic pawpaw and the fertilized pawpaw. Some of the women are very strategic, like they know the difference between these things, but it's not everybody who know these things.
Who knows the
That
difference?
makes that makes the organic food a little bit expensive than the fertilizer ones. And the organic foods too, they don't spoil early. The crops, they don't spoil quickly. Unlike the fertilizer food that
Yeah.
chemicals, they spoil
Yes.
quickly. Yeah, so that's the difference that most of the women. So since we have Sister Mila here, she can share more experience with us.
Okay.
And just to add to what Daniel just said, concerning the fertilizers, if you are talking about fertilizers, then probably you are talking about either organic fertilizer or these chemical fertilizers. So basically, there are organic fertilizers which can help crops grow naturally very fast and then very healthy as well. So it is up to us to make research into these organic fertilizers that can help farmers cultivate more crops as fast, or let me say as easy as possible, so that they can bring to the market for people to consume. Because people actually do. I know this particular man, Kantanka, he's in Ghana here. He's making organic fertilizers out of plantain, the plantain tree. He's making organic fertilizer out of it, and it is very, very, very effective, even as compared to the chemical fertilizer. So maybe if you have to make more research and then confront and then seek for more knowledge, you will get uh, a whole lot. You will get a whole lot, because personally for him, he's had this vision of making sure that we are only surviving on organic food. It's kind of part of his agenda that he's actually trying to make. So if you are also to bring or introduce blockchain and then this whole agenda to it, I think it will blend and it will be a good cause.
Yeah. I know
Yeah.
in Vietnam, many of the farmers they buy the fertilizer from China, which is very unhealthy because there's a lot of instances, for instance, of cancer caused by the fertilizer. But what farmers often do is they grow two crops. They have one set of crops that they grow, for instance, to eat themselves and to sell in the local market, and then another part of their crop most of their crop, they use the Chinese fertilizer. So maybe, yeah, maybe we could, maybe if a farmer isn't growing organics, they could just, start by growing 1 acre or quarter acre, and then gradually expand to be more preference in organic food.
Yeah, that's true. Definitely, we'll have to start somewhere and then we end somewhere.
Yeah, that's a good. I think these are two things that we can sell direct to markets, help them sell directly to markets, and then also help them sell organic. And both of them should raise the profits of a farmer by a lot, I would think. And then I think we can ask, like, I mean, it seems like most of you guys already know the answers to a lot of these questions, but we can ask, like, does your product need special handling, like refrigeration? So I guess some of it we can figure out, but maybe it's not of refrigeration. Maybe if it's like sending chickens, it has to be in an open air container. And then, so maybe just ask the farmer if they have asked their marketplace if, if there would be pay extra if there was traceability. And I think that's really what we're talking about, traceability based on showing that you only use organic, or traceability to show where food came from or the quality of the food. But that could be a little bit sensitive to the farmer, but if you have a good feeling, if we feel like, as you mentioned, like if we tell them why we're asking, maybe they will understand. And then, yeah, is there an expiration limit on their food? Like, do they know that if it leaves their farm, it has to be on the table or eaten like within 2 days or a week or a month? Sort of the expiration on the food.
Okay.
They look like good questions. Do you think of anything, does anybody have any more questions I think would be good for the farmer? And then we can move on to the shipper.
I'm thinking of some question, but I don't know how to frame it. Is it shift cultivation, whereby the farmer doesn't grow one particular product, but it grows them based on the season. It grows them based on the season. So maybe if it's the rainy season, the particular crop to grow. One is the summertime, to the particular food to grow. So you can also ask them by if they're into shift cultivation or something like that. So
That's actually a very good point. I was talking to someone who's a specialist at, let me see if I can get his post. He's on sustainability. And this is this is a big problem all over the world. Let me see if he sent me his link. Mm. So you're kind of talking about sustainability in farming, right? You're like you don't want to
Manage the farmland.
yeah, that's happening all over the world. Farmers are over farming their land and then reducing the quality. Mm. Hmm.
And yeah, um, can I come in with a question? Suggestion?
Sure.
Yeah, I was thinking if you could also ask these farmers how much more yield they could make, if they are introduced to technological farming. Most of these farmers. Okay, let me just use Ghana as a use case. In Ghana here, for instance, people farm not with technology. I mean, they don't have enough funds to cater for these caterpillars and these farming tools or machines. So how much more would they be able to yield if they are introduced to this technological farming? I think from my side, I think it's a question that can probably bring out answers to how effective the farming can be if they have access to certain tools that some people are already using.
Mhm. So is it mostly things like tractors and harvesters, or
Exactly.
is this kind of thing? Yeah, that's very interesting. Because I know a guy who's actually working on something where you rent a tractor because you shouldn't need to buy a tractor if you're only going to use it for like one day. So co-ops where they can supply a tractor and rent it. And that way many farmers can pool their money and rent a tractor for a season, and then every farmer gets to use it part of the time. Have you seen anything like that, like co-ops where farmers pool their money to rent equipment?
Yeah, I think tractors are very expensive.
Yes,
Yeah, so definitely they will rent tractors
yes.
to level their grounds. And
They come together and hire a tractor to
Mm-hmm.
to help them from one farm to the other. Yeah,
Oh, okay. And then they share it.
they do that. Farming groups. Yeah,
That might be a project that would be interesting to do on the blockchain, is to manage
definitely. Yeah,
the renting of tractors and equipment,
yeah,
and then who pays for the maintenance if it breaks down and you need a new tire, or it needs to be repaired. How do you manage who pays for that? I think that's something that we could think about uh, as well. Yeah, good idea. Should we move on to shipper, or does anyone have uh, any more questions for the farmer?
I think we can move on.
Okay.
Yeah, when we get anything, we can go back and add it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think everybody has edited. I think everybody can edit
Yeah, sure.
the thing. So if you come up with something later, you can add it. Maybe I'll add an extra column here for the name so that everybody who adds it, we can track who added it. if we want to follow up with question. So for the warehouse, oh wait, we missed one. Chipper. I guess we asked this question to the farmer, but maybe the shipper. I don't really know who the shipper is. Is it? It's probably a lot, but in Vietnam, we may have one person, and that's their business. They own one truck, and they ship, and then you have successful shippers, and they may own 5 trucks or 10 trucks and hire people to drive them, and then you have the big mega companies that may have 100 trucks. I don't know. We should kind of classify them. Again, I don't really want to ask people, like, they'll be like, none of your business. How many trucks do you own? Just start by knowing that, so that when we read their answers, we can know if they're a big guy or if it's just one. Or maybe we should just, whoever interviews the shipper should like write down how big is the company. Just so we know, it's probably different answers depending on how big the company is. And then, so the other question is, do you check the quality of goods when you load them on a truck? So you back your truck into the farmer and start loading crops. Would the shipper detect spoilage when they load the truck, or do they not care, or do they just sort of have a look but not really, no special process?
I think over here, what happens is that the individual agent who get the crops from the farmers. If you are shipping it outside the source of Ghana, you have to let Ghana Standard Authority, the Ghana Standard Authority, to verify your food and give you certification that this food has been vetted and approved before you can. So you have that certification on your package. So the fact that you have it on your package, the shipper doesn't have any issue with you, because there have been much instances here in Ghana that food crops were shipped in Europe and they were returned back because they tested in their market and they found out that we didn't use natural ways, or we didn't follow the procedure. The EU, the European Union, they have a standard. If your food is coming to their country, they have a standard and how the food should be grown. So there's Ghana Standard Board Authority to verify, go through that the farmers use the right procedures to grow the crops, and before they give the agent the certification. And then the shipper too have to check whether the certification have been approved and is genuine before they will ship it. Other than that, the shipper too might be at loss. You ship something and then the European market reject it, you are at loss. So
that's going through the agents, right?
Exactly.
Oh.
So it will be very difficult to take the agent out because of the processes that the food have to go through. The farmer will not be able to, because most of our farmers here are not formally educated. Most of our farmers here, and then to ship something outside of Ghana, it goes through processes, paperwork. So it will be a little bit difficult to take the agent out if you want to sell their crops outside Ghana. But for the local market, most of the farmers have their market already. They have their market sellers, they have the people that they sell to directly. But for the crops to leave Ghana to other parts of the country, the other parts of Africa, or in the Africa country outside Ghana, it goes through processes.
So is part of that process that somebody from the Ghana Standard Authority would go to the farmer and
No,
test the soil?
The agent have to take the crop, the products.
Mm-hmm.
You take the product to the standard authority, then they verify it. They will use machine to check whether it's where it was where farmed. You see, before they will give you the certification. There is a label that you place on your product. So anybody who see that label know that this would have been vetted and approved before it can go outside.
Is the
Yeah. So
yeah.
But when it comes to the
yeah. So what? Okay.
okay, then I'll go ahead.
No, Daniel, flow.
Okay, when it
Uh,
comes to the
yeah,
soil
flow.
testing, we have the environmental agencies that does those things. We have the Ministry of Agriculture that also support the farmers in terms of checking their land, educating them on how fertile the land is and what particular crop they can grow at what season. So that one, the Ministry of Agriculture is helping, assisting the farmers through sensitization and farming education. That is for the soil type. But when the product has been cultivated and you want to sell it outside, that's when the agent have to take it to the standard authority for verification that they follow the right procedure that the Ministry of Agriculture has them to follow.
Okay. What is that organization that educates the farmer and shows them how to grow it?
That's
Is
the
that
ministry,
a
that's the Ministry of Agriculture. The ministry. It's a ministry under the government of Ghana. Ministry. I remove the AD.
ministry?
Yeah. Ministry of Agriculture.
Is the ministry fairly open to new business? Like, is it possible we can talk directly to the ministry and see if we can work together on this? Or
I think we can visit the ministry and then talk to some of the directors over there. But for us to meet the minister himself, it will be a little bit challenging. But we can talk to the director, and if they found our mission to be helpful to the farmers, then they will channel us to meet the minister later on. But there are directors over there that we can go and see them, who can also assist with more information.
okay, maybe we should come up with a plan to talk to the director. I know that Charles Hoskins from Cardano is going to be visiting Africa, I think this next week. So maybe we can ask somebody in Cardano to help reach out to the ministry, or maybe we do it ourselves.
Okay.
Something we can talk about later, but that sounds like a good place to start.
Yeah.
I think the same for the shipper that we asked for the, let's go back to this question. Okay, what if they're not shipping internationally? What if they're shipping to the local market? The question is, does the guy, when he's taking delivery of the food, does he check the quality, or does he just throw it onto his truck and take it to the market?
Yeah. So this is where I jump in. This practice is actually on a low level. Okay. So sometimes, or usually, what happens is that
Did I lose you?
No, we can't hear you. No, please come here again.
assuming I have my truck, and then what I do is I convey goods, or I convey crop to the market, for people to buy and sell. Probably. Okay. Can you hear me now? My network is messing up. So what I was saying is let me just use myself as an example here. Let me just put myself in a scenario here. So assuming I have a truck, okay, I own a truck, and what I do is daily I go to farm yards to convey crops and then bring them to the market, local markets for people to buy and sell, or probably just to distribute to them so that they will just transact with the farmers on the farmland. So usually what happens is that I am just a conveyor. Okay. So usually the shippers around here locally they are just conveyors. All they do is they just carry their trucks to convey goods from the farmyards to the marketplaces. And then there are people who are actually involved in terms of transactions. So like they are actually trading with the people involved in the farming themselves. So if for instance I'm a conveyor, I don't really care if what I'm conveying is sport or not. All that matters is I've been able to load it and then I've been able to upload it as well. Because the more you the more rounds you go probably will determine the more money you get out of the day. So usually they don't really care about goods probably being, but then and due to how they pack the goods, also the crops, usually they pack them in sacks and sometimes in crates. So it is very difficult for a conveyor to determine that okay, this one is sport, unless maybe it is on the top before he or she can be able to tell that okay, this one is sport, so just change it or something. But if not, if there's a little bit of pressure, they just pack it and then offload it, and then they don't really care if there's any spoilages or not. So and they are not being blamed, or they are not being held responsible for spoilages either, because their job is just to convey and then upload. So basically, when it comes to local shipping, that's how they go about it.
I see.
Exactly,
I
yeah.
see. So if it's spoilage, then it goes, basically the farmer has to pay.
Exactly, the farmer has to cater for the spoilages.
Hmm. Okay, I got it. I got it. So I guess a shipper may ship many kinds of products, right? So we can ask, what is the kind of products you ship? Uh, so if for international shipping, if you're shipping to an international market, do the agents then have their own shippers or their own conveyors? Or do they use local shippers and local conveyors?
You mean for international?
Yeah, like if you're going to a foreign market.
Yeah, so like I said, is that one is the work of the agent.
And the agent would hire their own conveyor.
Yeah, actually the ships over here, you can buy a container, 40-feet container. The agent can buy 40-feet container, then put the various crops that he bought from the farmers that have been certified and were packed.
Mm-hmm.
The
I
food
see.
that have been certified and were packed. The shipper, the agents have to buy a 40-feet container and pack them in. So one container can contain different type of crops.
Oh, I
Then,
see.
yes, then you carry it and give it to, you go to the harbor.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, then you pack it there, then the ship will carry it and then send it to the destination
Mm.
where it's going.
And it picks it up directly from the farmer usually,
Yes, from the farmer to the warehouse, packaging, verified, certified, then shipped outside.
then shipped outside. Okay. Okay. So who, in both scenarios, like the local shipment and the shipment to the foreign market, who pays the shipping service? Is it the farmer or the warehouse or the
The
market?
the moment the agent buy the food, the farmer is out of the game.
Okay.
The moment the agent buy the food from the farmer, the agent is out. So now everything is on the agent. It's the business of the agent. So who will pay for the shipping? because it's going to make more profit. It's even going to make, you know, shippers, the agents make more profit than the farmers over here.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's going to pay for the shipping and everything, the certification, verification, all the costs involved. The agents are paying for that, and they ship it, and then they sell it at higher prices. They get their profit back.
Does the agent ever pay before the farmer's crops are ready?
They come to an
Like-
agreement with them. Most of based on the guys spoke with, they come with an agreement with the farmers that you are growing this particular crop at this season. Please, when it's about time, send them to me.
Okay. But
Yeah.
would they ever give a loan to the farmer? Like if the farmer needs money to buy the seed and
Yes,
to
they
buy-
support them. They support them with money and other stuff. They support them not only money but education too.
support
They
them with
give them
money?
proper yeah, they give them proper education because like their business depend on the farmer.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Okay.
so they give them proper education and counseling, and it's like they supervise the farmer. The farmer have the farming skills, and then the agent supervise them to get a good by protecting their crop, because there are some animals that can come into your farm and chew your crops or something like that. So they help them with all these kind of things.
Sounds like this would be a hard cycle to break. Are most farmers in this cycle where they actually are given credit and given education, and if they want to ship directly to the foreign market, this may burn their relationship with their agent and cause them problems potentially. How many farmers are independent and not dependent on an agent? Or are there many agents? So if a farmer wants to try being independent and then their agent is unhappy with them, they can go work for another agent.
Yes, they have the liberty to change the agenda they want to work with, and they have the right to choose the type of market. If they want to sell to the local market, they have the right to sell to the local market. If they want to sell some of their crops to the agent, they have the right to do that. And the Ministry of Agriculture is also ensuring that not all the food that will grow here will be shipped outside. Other than that, there'll be shortage of food in the country. So there are regulations, yeah, there are regulations to that as well, so that there will not be shortage of food in the country. Yeah.
Okay. Who pays the shipping? Okay. So did we cover the local market? So if you're not working with an agent, but shipping to a local market, the farmer would pay or the marketplace would pay?
Who pays for the shipping?
Yeah. Assuming it's just going to the local market.
I know this market in Accra, Agboglosh market. What happens is that the women wake up early in the morning, like dawn. They go to the villages to convey their food to the market to sell. And most of the village women to bring their crops from the village to come and sell to the market women at the market. So so either the seller is going to pick his own thing and come and sell, or somebody over there in the village closer to the farmer will bring it and come and sell to the market women. In the market we also sell.
So are there markets that they're not local, they're not like walking distance, but maybe
No,
100 miles away or 50 miles away?
you know,
Are there?
Accra itself is not a farming town, so all the crops, most of the crops comes outside Accra, and
Hmm.
yes, most of the crops come outside Accra, so all of them they have to go far in conveyance, sometimes 2 hours journey because they wake up very early, you know.
But generally they don't hire a shipper. They bring them themselves, right? Is that what you were saying?
There's this truck. I don't know how they call it in. I don't know the
Tobacco.
English name. There's this truck that normally goes to the village, but not for only one person. Maybe a group of women have come together,
Mhm.
buy that. Is it lorry? I don't know. That wooden car. Nana Safo in Richmond. Emilia, please. What's the name of that car? That wooden car.
Arrogas.
Hourglass. Hourglass. Yeah.
Yeah. So
The wooden
yes,
car.
yeah, the wooden car.
What on chine?
That's the
What
name.
on chine?
Okay.
Yes.
So he goes to this farming
So
community and brings the goods
yeah.
to the sellers. So each seller have to pay the driver. If your goods is in the car, you have to pay for it.
Oh, I see. I
Yeah.
see. Can you type
Yeah.
the name of that
And
truck?
they normally sit on these goods.
Hmm. Can you
It's
type?
a local big truck, which normally stacks of food just be sitting on top of the bags of rice.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Okay. Can you type the name of that type of truck or
Bags of
farmer?
maize and all that. They'll just be sitting on.
Hmm. So
That it's made of wood at the time. It's wood. The bucket behind the truck is wood. It's made of wood.
so it's made of wood. Okay. But you can take any kind. You can take
Yes.
eggs or chickens or pigs or.
When it's chicken, it's chicken. When it's eggs, it's just eggs. And when it's foodstuffs, it can be all plantain and yam and other things.
Oh, okay.
So that, yeah.
Hmm. Oh,
And it may be 50 kilometers or 80 or 100 kilometers away from Accra. So they set off very early in the morning or in the night and get to Accra early in the morning.
And does the farmer, like the women farmers, they ride in the truck too with their goods? Or
Yes, some of them are the farmers themselves. Some are also traders in those villages who go to the farms and get the foodstuffs and bring them to the cities to buy to
oh,
sell.
I see.
Yeah.
And traders. So they get up early in the morning and they go to the farms and they pick it
Yeah.
and then they bring it
And
back.
set off at night. Yeah. And set off at night from the village at dawn around 4 a.m. And people from the city also go there to meet them around 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. when they would have finished selling everything. Then they go back to the village.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's similar in Vietnam, yeah. There are trucks that come with goods and then people open up a stall and sell, and then end of the day they go home. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So does
And
anybody have, go ahead.
yeah, so when it comes to foodstuffs like something like mangoes and oranges and these. Normally, what they do is they go for them when they are not ripe yet. Okay,
Yeah.
so like they travel all the way from wherever they are in Accra to these villages. Sometimes about 10 hours drive all the way to the villages to convey these fruits which are not ripe yet, and then they bring it to Accra to store it. Okay, and the form of storage is not really official. What they do, they just lay down some mats, and then they have this fruit on them, and then they cover them up with some some either rubbers or mats, and then they leave it for some time for it to get ripe because of the heat that they are introducing to it. So when they are ripe, then they start introducing it to the market itself. So that is how they go about fruits also in over here.
Hmm. Oh, okay. And they stay with their crop while it's ripening, right? It usually takes a day or two, or do they put them on the mats and leave them there and go back to their farms?
No, they don't go back to the farms again. Like when they bring it, sometimes it takes about 1 week for the crops to get ripened, and then they will send it to the market to sell. So as they have it, like when they bring it to Accra and then they start the storage. Okay, they will be around running some other businesses, some other trades, and then but when these fruits are ready for market, then then they come back to it, and then they start introducing them to the market and then selling them off. So when it is done, they restart the whole process again.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
It's interesting. So are there any other questions we should like ask of the shipper? I guess now we're mainly thinking about, since it's the Aeroglass, but for the agent, I guess the agent pays for it, so he doesn't have to, so nobody has to, yeah. The agent usually owns the truck, right? It ships.
Are you referring to the international one or the local one?
The international one.
The international agents don't hold the ships. No, they buy a container.
They just hire.
They just hire a container or buy a container and pack their goods in it. A ship can carry more than 20 containers. So one of the containers might be goods of crops from a farmland. Yes.
Yeah.
So the ship,
And then
something like a cargo.
Yeah, cargo. Yeah, cargo ship.
And they don't. They just pay for the container. They don't measure by weight or what the crop is, or.
No, they measure by, you buy the size of the container.
Only the size of the container.
The size of container will depend on the amount of money you have to pay. But I think we can do more research on this one to know whether the amount of food in a 40-foot container is the same as clothing or other things with the same size of container. So we have to
and
from of that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think they also take into consideration the weight. The ship needs to be balanced for it to be able to sail through the sail on the sea very, 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 very swiftly. So I think they also take into consideration the weight, but then maybe they probably do not take they probably do not dwell on the weight for pricing sake, but then they just go on the size because they've already put everything in there. Like they've already considered the weight, they've considered the size, they've considered the number of goods it's supposed to take, the length and everything. I'm sure they take all of this into consideration. That is with the shipping agencies before an agent can come in for booking and all of this.
Exactly.
All right.
Also, I think they also have space. I remember I shipped some gallons of liquid soap to my sister in the US. They measure the space and then the weight. That's what they normally do for if you are shipping something. So they have this pallet sizes. So you have to arrange it on the pallet. So it's the size and the weight of the volume of what you are shipping. That's what they take into consideration.
Do they load the containers directly on the ships, or when they put it in the warehouse, they repackage them into another container?
No, they fill a container and then they lift the container into the ship.
Okay.
So somebody can buy a container and you can go and buy a space in the container as well. If you don't have a lot of things.
So okay.
There's a container and then you can also buy a space in the container if you can't load a whole container.
So it's like pay by like cubic meters.
Yeah, something like that.
Pay for the space.
Space. Space and the volume.
And the volume, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So who owns the container? Because it's shipped all the way across it's put on the ship. So who actually owns the container? Is it the agent, or is there an international shipper that lends the container?
It's agent.
No, madam.
We have the shippers and then okay.
When it comes to the containers, every ship have its own container. They have written the name of the ship even on the container. Yeah.
Okay. Even on the container. Okay. So they basically give out the container, and then somebody drives it to pick up the crops and then brings it back full and puts it on the ship. Is that the basic flow?
No, like I said earlier.
Yeah.
From the farmland to the agent to the Ghana Standard Authority for Verification and Certification.
Yeah.
And then to the packaging, labeling it, then conveying it to the port of to the port. You pack it into the container, then you export.
Then you export. Okay. Okay.
So basically somebody okay, an agent who has taken upon him or herself to export goods from one country to the other is actually responsible for all charges involved. So like he pays the farmer, gets the goods, get them run them through the necessary processes, and then packages them and then put them on the container and then ship them. So like they are responsible for everything. So if let's say a container is supposed to be bought, the agent is responsible for that particular cost. So at the end of the day, he will be the owner of that particular container. Then maybe if, inferior agents can come in to buy, little spaces in the container, as Mrs. Efia said earlier on. So, but at the end of the day, that very container spaces in there will belong to be several other agents who also probably don't have enough money to buy or cater for containers.
Okay.
Some containers are also for the state, though. There are some state containers that are for state conveyances. So that one is also there.
What do you think is the minimum amount of volume or space you can buy in a container? So if there's a small farmer and he wants to ship, one container, a really small container of mangoes, do you think that they would sell sell the farmer a small space in the container, or do you have to basically have a lot to ship for them to be interested?
Exporting goods from one country to another is very expensive, and I doubt if anybody would like to ship small quantity of goods, which might cost more than the price even of the goods. So what they do is that if this farmer can provide me 3 baskets of mangoes, I put it down, I go to another farmer who can also provide me. I join all of them together and I get the volume of mangoes that I want and I export it. But exporting just small handful of mango is going to be very, very costly.
Okay. Yeah. So
And
it's
and
like,
I think yeah, you can go ahead. And also talking about farmers wanting to export their goods directly. Maybe they don't have enough money to cater for huge or bulk exports. It would be best, for them to understand that, okay, fine. So with the export, when it comes to exporting, you will need to have quite a good amount of money, to buy a very tangible space, because no agent would want to sell to you about 1 square feet of space for you to just put your 1 crate of mango there, and then no, I'm not sure that will cultivate more crops. You have to make more cultivation so that at the end of the day you'll be able to yield more. If you're able to yield more, then probably with support and all of this, you can be able to export your goods and then start your international marketing as well. I think that will suit them well, and then they will start working very hard.
Yeah, what Nana is saying is true. You have to get a minimum weight and space. You can't just go and say, I just have a basket of this and I want to export it. They go by a minimum space and a minimum weight.
Okay. Where is do you have an idea of like which are the countries that are the main consumers of farming goods from Ghana?
I know UK gets a lot of yams and plantain and some fishes from here. I don't know about US, but I know UK gets a lot of import.
Like goes to the UK.
Yeah.
How about other countries in Africa, like South Africa or?
Nigeria gets a lot of palm oil and salt from Ghana.
Okay. Do you know any crops that are sold to the US?
There's this company here in Ghana, actually owned by a Westerner. Okay, so it's called Blue Skies. They are into mango, they are into packaging of mangoes.
Are there
It's not
any
just
foods
mango,
like
it's
mangoes that
seafood.
are exported to the United States?
Yeah, so Blue Skies export I think mangoes, oranges, and other fruits from Ghana
Pineapple as well. Pineapple.
pineapples, yeah, to US and other states, other neighboring states.
I think they are into food drinks too, or Nana.
Sorry.
They are into food drinks. They produce some of the local food
Uh,
drinks.
yeah, they do.
Juice as well.
Yeah, they do. They do. Yeah, juice. They do juice also, and fruit chips and all of this.
Sorry, I found somehow I was my volume had gone down, so I didn't hear the
Oh,
last 2 minutes. I
okay.
wasn't hearing anything.
Okay, so I was talking about a company here in Ghana called Blue Skies. They are into production of fruit juice and fruit chips. So they export from Ghana to US and other neighboring states, Germany, Italy, and all of these states for consumption. So they actually Blue Skies on its own actually kind of runs through the cycle from start to end. They have farming, they have farmlands that they farm, you have people farming on the farmland, for purposely for them. And then when they come to their production site, so they have warehouses, their storage, they do all the process and everything, and then they export it outside to sell. So they run through all the process, all the cycle.
Okay, so a few
They
big
can be a good
companies
point of investment.
US. Okay.
There is this company to Richmond.
Yeah,
You talk about Oxy
Oxy.
Industries.
yeah. I've even confronted him with it, but it seems he doesn't have time, so he didn't give me time. Yeah, so he also exports cassava to the US as well.
Okay.
Yes,
Cassava and
and
sugar.
also with the cassava and sugar, and Gary mix. He also do Gary mix and then Gary as well. Yes, so that's those packaging to US.
As well as brown sugar.
Brown sugar, yeah.
Okay. And something like brown sugar, that would be a very large farm, right? That wouldn't be like local farmers, family
Sure, so
farm.
he uses pure sugar cane in producing the brown sugar.
Okay. I think, okay, next category is market, but I think we kind of covered most of the questions. Already when we talked about the I'll just we talked about these already, right? Like what happens if there's a loss? You should ask how big is your market? So maybe if just, I don't know, if there's a marketplace that would be open to accepting a quality guarantee on being organic or not having unhealthy pesticides. If we know a market, we could ask some, I don't know, big marketplace if they're interested in that. I guess right now we have to sort of like, we kind of came up with some good conclusions here. Selling directly, so no middleman. And then selling organic, being able to certify organic, and then increase the value of the crop by selling organic. I think now.
Sorry, Tim. I think on the fifth line, the name is Ghana, not Guana. It's Ghana. I think you should correct that. On the
Sorry,
fifth
this
line.
is like Ghana.
Fifth row.
No, Ghana. Ghana. Let me just put it in the chat so that you just notice over there.
Yeah, please text it.
You're talking about the fifth row, the Ghana Standard Authority.
Okay. Yeah, can you? Ghana Standard Authority. Okay.
So I'll put it in the chat.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I messed that up. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's okay now.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah. Thanks for correcting.
You're welcome.
Maybe we should think about this. So chicken and egg, right? You can't like You have to have a market for the farmer's goods before you can get the farmer to grow organic, or you have to have a market abroad before you're interested in that. So what do you think? Maybe we should just spend some time thinking on this, but what is the, who should we start with first? Or should we try to, um, should we start with several of them at the same time? I guess the question is in the context of, let's say, growing organic or being safe food, with, should we start with finding marketplace and then markets, and then maybe try to see if there are farmers interested in doing a pilot of the process where they could grow maybe a quarter acre or just a small amount? Or yeah,
Okay.
what's the easiest path for us now?
Yeah. So personally, from here, I think we can start off by conducting a survey, okay, on consumers. We should start thinking about consumers first. We should get their ideas and what actually they are looking for from the marketplaces. Then from there we can based on it, then probably approach the market centers and then the market holders, so that we can also get their concerns, their problems, their challenges, and then probably based on the challenges we provide solutions, and then we can also confront them with the idea that okay, fine. So maybe we conducted a survey, and out of the survey, about 99% of people we spoke to who are actually consumers are all centers are all not organic, and it's quite a problem to them, but they just come to, there's none over there. But actually they are looking for organic and healthy foods to buy. So they don't really care the price, or probably they have the price in mind too. So they really want to patronize that particular market center. Then maybe we can frame you as a market holder. Would you want to start bringing on board organic foods? If you could provide the farmers who are actually cultivating pure organic food, so that you can start selling them to people who are already interested in buying this kind of products, would you want to embark on such a journey? If they say yes, then we can take it from there, start confronting farmers, and then also get them engaged, maybe quarter acres or something, then they start working, and then the collaboration links from there. So like already you've already made the connections and the blocks are all connected.
Yeah, that sounds like a really good plan. Do you have any idea about how you would do the survey? Would this be like Facebook, or you stand in front of a market and ask people, or what's the best way to take the survey?
Okay, so concerning the survey, it can come in different folds. We can have some on social media, and we can also have some in physical. There are some markets. Usually, some consumers they are not open to this social media stuff. So there are some consumers you have to confront them, one on one, and then talk to them, and then get to know their views. There are some consumers also they are very open to this social media stuff. So when we have them one in physical, so whereby maybe we'll have to you know throw ourselves into the market, and then talk to consumers and customers buying stuff from the market centers, and then convey their ideas. Then we just put them all of them together and then get our record.
Okay, that sounds like a good plan. Maybe since we're coming near the top of the hour here, I think a next plan would be to kind of come up like a marketing plan. Not really marketing plan, but how to do the survey. So which social media platforms, and come up with a list of questions we would ask. And if it's visiting a market and asking people directly, then which markets, and yeah, what questions do we ask them? Does it sound like a good plan?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
I think it's a very good idea. If we can come up with data that says that people will pay a lot for organic, then we can go to the markets and then go to the farmers and then start a pilot. Sounds very good.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, I'll post something on the email and on the Facebook. Maybe just a form where we can come up with questions and come up with like what social media, which social media, and how to do, how to do the survey. And then we can leave comments. I'll talk to some guys that I know. We can leave some comments, and then next week we can discuss that, and maybe during the next week or after our next meeting, we can actually start publishing these surveys.
Great.
Sound like a
But
plan?
I think you will have to post.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Donna?
But Tim, please post for. Yeah. Please post for us the link to the Facebook page. I think I didn't get it, so I'm kind of
Okay.
not following that side. Yeah.
I'll send it out to the email group, the Facebook.
Okay, that'll work.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
Okay, was a really productive session, I think. So I think we can end it here, follow up on Facebook and email, and see you all next week.
Sure. See you too.
Sure.
Okay, bye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a nice evening.
Yes, you too. Great
Okay,
session.
thank you. Yeah, sure.
Bye.
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 Goodbye.